I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Joining me now is Congressman Greg Murphy. Congressman, thank you so much for joining me.
Nice to see you, Brittany. Thank you.
I do want to set the scene where we're at right now. Round one to nominate Jim Jordan for House Speaker has failed. Right now, defectors voted for Congressman Scalise, McCarthy, even former Congressman Lee Zeldin. Simply put, now what?
Yeah, so Brittany, I'll just say from the beginning, I was against the whole thing. I think Speaker McCarthy was doing a good job leading the conference. It's kind of disappointing that 4% of the people were able to throw him out, but we're just going to see. Jordan didn't have the votes, and he's going to have to see if he can convince those individuals who did not vote for him the first time, maybe because of a protest vote, maybe because they didn't feel McCarthy should have been ousted, and maybe they felt Scalise shouldn't have been ousted. And so hopefully those protest votes, if Jim wants to be the speaker, he'll be able to convince those people to, basically on the second round, put the shorts down and move forward. It's going to be a little bit harder for those that actually are against Jim Jordan, not just as a protest vote. So we'll have to see. It's going to be an afternoon of him having discussions, and we'll see what happens moving forward.
Can you give us some insight into how those discussions are going? As we know, round one, you did vote for Jim Jordan, but I've seen some reporting, and obviously this can change as everything's fluid, that it's only looking worse for Jim Jordan. Is that how you're feeling?
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I'll say, Brittany, from day one, I've said this very well may be a compromise candidate, an individual that, Scalise, there were some folks that did not like him from some of the stuff in the past. Same thing with Jordan. And it may be an individual, I'll submit, maybe Kevin Hern from Oklahoma or Mike Johnson from Louisiana, who doesn't have, I don't want to say the baggage, but doesn't have some of the things that people dislike about them, someone who can be a consensus candidate. Mike was a previous leader of the RSC, the Republican Study Committee. Kevin is the present leader of the Republican Study Committee. So I think either of those individuals probably wouldn't have as many people having issues with them moving forward. And so they may end up being a compromise candidate.
Do you think, what's the likelihood of that happening right now? Because we know that you were going to vote for Jordan. So is this consensus candidate going to emerge anytime soon?
Well, I can't say that for sure. Paul Boehner, when he was removed, and then Paul Ryan came out as a consensus candidate when Boehner was taken down. And so it may be a spur of the moment kind of thing, and people just said, I'm had enough is enough, I'm ready to move forward.
I want to talk about some of your comments from last week. You reportedly said this about Jim Jordan. He should get, quote, 24 hours or the weekend or whatever to see if they can get the votes. And if they can't get the votes, roll on. How many rounds are you going to stand with Congressman Jordan here? Or, have you seen enough after one round and it's time to, as you said, roll on?
Well, I think that, this was the first vote. It was the first weekend of he and I think McCarthy was also trying to make inroads against people who were against Jordan. We'll see what the next little while goes for. Brittany, you don't know me, but I'm a surgeon, and it's kind of like if something's not working, then you try a different direction. I think it's fine to give somebody the time. This was the first official vote for him to see if he can gather things up. But if he can't, Mr. McCarthy stepped down, wouldn't go for another vote again when he was taken out. Same thing with Scalise, and I would expect if Jordan sees the handwriting in the wall that he would do the same.